Okay, so I mean the first type of sofa we're gonna make is very easy, and you guys should be able to fly through it pretty quickly. We're gonna make like one cushion, and then we're just gonna duplicate that cushion to save us a bit of work as well. Okay, so it's all about just kind of not being lazy but being productive with the way you model. So what we're gonna do is we'll start off with a real basic cube first of all. From there we're gonna put in a edge loop tool, so mesh tools, insert edge loop. So what we're think of this here as the very bottom of your couch, okay? And we're gonna do like kind of an old school kind of Simpsons style one. And then we're gonna do what we're gonna do half of this. So what we're gonna do is that is gonna give us the space to make our kind of arm of our couch, and then we need one then for the back. So that's gonna give us the space to make the back of the couch. And then same as what we did last week, we're just gonna put a line like roughly down the middle, and then hold down your right click, go into face mode. We're going to get rid of this half of it because we don't need it. Okay? So some people do this the opposite way around. This is a better way to do it because it makes it just a bit easier. So what we're going to do then is just grab these three faces. So remember, anytime you're selecting more than one, you just hold down shift, and we're going to extrude these up. So it's just mesh tools and extrude. Now what I want you guys to do is, as soon as you hit extrude, let's stop using the extrude tool because it causes issues. Okay, so as soon as I hit extrude, I'm going to go straight to my move tool, and then I'm just going to move it up. Okay, so it's just a little bit easier because next time I extrude, it's not going to try and use the same settings. So the annoying thing about the new Maya is it thinks it's helping you, but really it's annoying. Like if you move an object and then you push extrude, it thinks you want to move it the same distance, and you don't always. So we're just going to cut that bit out. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to grab this back bit just on its own. I want to extrude this up again. Okay, so I don't want the other two pieces to come off it. So all we do is mesh tools, extrude, and then just go straight to the move tool and just pull it up. Okay, so that should be like real basic, like a real kind of scruffy version of our couch. Yeah, don't worry, it's going to be a couch. Trust me. Trust me. It's fine. It's going to be a couch. So what we're going to do is we've got to kind of, it's very blocky, okay? So we've got to start adding in like more divisions so we can kind of smooth it out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is going to go to our mesh tools. I'm going to go to insert edge loop. This time I want to go into the little square beside it. So everything that's got that little square, it's like the mirror geometry we used. It's got options. Okay, so if we go in there, we should be able to tell it that instead of putting in one, we want to put in multiple edge loops. And it's asking you how many, and we'll just say 2. So now when I click, it's just going to put in 2 at a time for me. So I can just quickly divide this model up like that. You can always reset it then back to normal. So if I tap spacebar, and I'm going to come out of this view, and we want to go in a view where we're looking kind of straight on our object. So that's us basically looking at it from this angle. And the reason I'm in here is we're going to go into a different mode today. We're going to hold down a right click and go into a thing called Vertex Mode. So what a vertex is, it's just these little points in 3D space. So just show you what happens. What most people do is they'll grab this point and they'll move it and they think it looks fine. Okay, but if I come out of the 3D view, come out of there and into the 3D view, you'll notice it's only grabbed one of them because when you click, it just grabs whatever's closest to you. So the best way for you to select stuff in this view is to click and drag a box over it. And then what it does is it actually goes through your model and selects both of them. So just working in this view now, all I'm going to do is just move these points. I'm not putting in anything new. I'm just moving around the stuff that's already in the scene to give us a bit more of a kind of curve. Okay, so there's no real curves in 3D. It's just a load of straight lines kind of sitting very close together. So if I move these there like that, and then I come out into this view, you can see now it's looking a bit more like a couch, kind of. It's looking a bit more 3D. And then we do the same from the other angle. So if we pop into the side view, make sure you click and drag the box over it. You can move like multiple chunks of them at a time. So if you think that's too high, you can grab all of them, move them down. So it's just a way of kind of controlling your objects like a little bit better. So we're not stuck with the same kind of blocky shapes. Okay. So if I move that one in there, you can see now it's looking a bit more smooth. Okay. So what we're going to do is grab the faces in the middle, and we're going to chuck them in the bin because we don't want them. Okay. And then we're going to do our mirror geometry that we did last week. So it's just mesh tool, and then mirror geometry. And then it's asking us which direction. Anyone want to hazard a guess? Based on down here. The red one, plus or minus? Yeah, plus. Plus the red one. I can see obviously because I'm beside the computer. It's X, yeah. So just plus X. This is there. Now, if you guys push 2 on your keyboard, you'll get what's called a smooth preview. All right, and that'll show you kind of it's rounded out your object. It's just a preview. So what I now do is smooth preview it, and then push 1, and it gives you your kind of back to your normal one. So you notice when I did the smooth preview, a lot of these it loses its shape. Okay, and the reason for that is we just need a couple more edge loops to harden up the shape a little bit. So I use mesh tool, insert edge loop. We're going to put 1 there, maybe 1 there. And I'll just show you the difference that happens now when I put these in. So see now it keeps them a lot more rigid. Okay, so the more edge loops you have in a certain bit, the harder it is kind of. So if you thought this bit here is kind of curving and it looks a bit weird, we just need to put an edge loop in there. So we can go to mesh tools, insert edge loop, and we'll just put 1 in that runs around there. And then now when I go back there and I smooth it, you see now it's a lot more kind of solid looking. Like it looks a lot kind of stronger. And you can do the same with the top of the couch and stuff as well. So all we're going to do then is same technique, but we're just going to make like a cushion. Okay, so just a cube for the cushion, and go into our insert edge loop tool, go into options, and we're going to use our multiples again. So multiple edge loops. We're just going to stick in 2 that way, 2 that way. And then if I look at the top of this object, it's going to give me a better view of it. So what we're going to do is hold down a right click, go into Vertex Mode. The vertices are weird. They're like a little point that just floats in 3D space, so they don't actually have any size. So if I click on one of them and I go to the scale tool, nothing will happen because it's not got any volume, so you can't actually make it bigger or smaller. But if you select more than one of them, so if I selected the ones on this side and the ones on this side, and then I go to the scale tool, what it does is it scales the distance between them. So it just basically says to them, right, you're there and you're there. I want to make that distance bigger. So this is where you can do like some cool effects. So if I was to grab this whole row, and because I'm clicking and dragging a box, if I pop into my 3D view, you can see it the whole way around. And then drag it like that. Now we can start getting like a bit more smooth of a shape. Okay, and I can do the same with these ones. I'm just going to scale them in that direction. And if we pop back in. So if I was to smooth this now, it's probably going to look a bit weird. Like it's a bit too smooth. So same again, you just want to go into your mesh tools, put in, turn off your multiple edge loops. Sorry, mesh tools. So I can go back and I can hit reset on that. And now I can put in 1 there to keep it kind of fairly hard at that edge, and then 1 there. And then that's a bit better looking, okay? And then all we do then is put that into our couch. We're going to smooth the whole thing at the very end. And you can scale it until you're happy with it. So because I'm in object mode now, when I scale it, it scales the entire object, okay? And you can move these vertices if you want it to be a bit like kind of straighter on one side, that's fine. So what we're going to do now is just duplicate this object. It's that easy, it's just Command and D. It doesn't look like it's done it because it sets your duplicate just on top of your original object. So loads of people do this all the time. They don't think it works, and then they do it again, and then they do it again, and then they've got like 15 objects just sitting on top of each other. So as soon as you push Command and D, just move it to see what happens. So it's actually 2 of them there. And then we can be dead lazy. We can actually select both of them, Command and D. And we're going to rotate them up that way, and then we can scale these into place for the back of the couch as well. Right, now we can still move them around until we're happy with them. All you have to do at the very end is a thing called mesh and then smooth. This is there. And that'll smooth everything out. Okay, so once we kind of move them into place till they're all lined up nicely, when we smooth it at the end, it'll look kind of quite nice, okay? I'm missing a base actually. We should have put a little cube in there as a base underneath those two to bring it up there. So just another cube for that. I can't. You fancy giving that a try? Okay. So all I'll do, guys, is